Hello and welcome back. This is another instalment in the State of My Black series display. Again, it's been a really busy week. I've actually had to go to a few hospital appointments, not for me, but as a chaperone, and that's really taken up a lot of time this week. One of them was an emergency one, and I ended up spending more than 24 hours in hospital, so I really haven't had time to get everything done that I wanted to do. I know I say this every week, but yeah, it's just the way my life is, I'm afraid. I really want to get the full collection tour done, but it's going to take me a while to get around to it. As I was saying last week though, I did want to put these pictures up, like I said, and I've managed to do that, so I think they look quite nice. We'll go in a bit closer in a minute so you can see them all, but yeah, I'm not sure about the middle one, the main Star Wars one, but I'll show you as to why in a moment as we get closer. At the top there we've got Kylo Ren. I'm having to stand on a chair, so sorry about the angle. I'm trying to get as best as I can. I've tried to keep the bad guys over here on the left, and on the right I've tried to put the good guys. And opposite Kylo Ren at the top here we've got Rey, just up there. Coming down underneath Rey we've got Chewie. Then opposite Chewie we've got Boba Fett. Coming down underneath Boba Fett we've got a Stormtrooper, which I kind of like this one. And opposite the Stormtrooper I decided to put Yoda. I like that pose of Yoda, I think it's quite nice. And underneath Yoda, we've got 3PO. Then across from him, on the other side of the display, we've got Vader. Still where he was, next to Padme. I just kind of like that. That Padme is from like a episode 1 sort of Barbie doll kind of thing. It was in the packaging, but it was quite a nice bit of cardboard, so I just decided to take it out and keep it. Underneath Vader, got the Death Star, the dreaded Death Star. And opposite that, on the other side, we've got R2. And then coming down underneath R2, we've got BB-8. And across from BB-8, we've got an AT-AT. Or an AT-AT, depending on what generation you're from. But for me, it's an AT-AT. So yeah, I kind of like them. I like the sort of the framing of them around that big picture that I said I wanted to move. But the only issue with that one, once I've hung it up, if we go up close and look underneath, you can see just how much it's hanging off from the wall. It's really hanging quite out. So I think the wall's sort of a little bit skewed, a little bit bowing out a little bit. So it's staying up and it seems pretty safe, but I'm not too happy about that. You know, I'm sort of worried about it dropping. So I might switch that picture back to where it was over here on this wall, where we've now got a nice big gap. And then find something else to go up there. But for now, I'm going to leave it as it is. I kind of like it. It sort of frames everything up a bit nicer. And makes little sort of, makes the walls less blank, you know. I thought it made the room seem a little bit more small at first because there were sort of bare walls, but I kind of like it now. I think it makes it look a little bit more, like, complete, you know, like a proper display area, like other people's that I see. So yeah, for now, I'm happy with it. If we go into the shelf here, I've got a couple, I've got a few new figures this week, but two of the ones that I've got here, I've got the Guavian Enforcer, which I think is a nice figure. I really like the design of it and everything. I think it's a very cool looking figure. Again, it's a shame from the films we didn't get to see more of these characters. They just got introduced and dispensed of. And I thought they were like droids of some sort because of like the mask on them, but apparently they are sort of actually sort of people within a sort of suit. So, well, that's what I got from the little blurb on the box anyway. I've put their weapons away in baggies so I don't lose them. And also next to him, I've got the other one of the other ones that I got with it from the same seller, a Resistance Trooper. I kind of like this. Again, I don't really recall seeing them too much in the movie, but it's nice to have that character from the sequel movies. Sorry about the focus. I think there's so many characters in the background, it's having a hard time focusing on the one I'm talking about. But yeah, again, two good characters. I got them for a good price. They were pre-owned, but it's one of them things, you know. It was hard. I managed to come across them for sort of brand new, so getting them pre-owned is fine by me. They're just sort of characters I like to have. I've got a Plo Koon, finally got this Jedi. He was on my top 10 list, so I'm glad to have him in here. I need to make some space for him above here with our prequel Jedis, but I just haven't got around to doing it yet. But yeah, he's a very cool looking character, I think. Got a very nice head sculpt. I like the little sculpt about all of him, really. He's got an interesting robe though, it's very different from everyone else's. If I was trying to spin him around a bit here, just turning him around a little bit here, you can see the sort of hood on his robe. It's a very pointy hood. You'll see the size of his hood. It's a massive hood. It's very pointy as well. It makes him look like sort of a Christmas elf or something if we put it on. I'll just put, there we go. You can see how pointy it is. It's quite ridiculous, really. And also, we've got an Asajj Ventress finally. I know she's at a bit of a funny sort of pose at the moment, but I'll show you why in this picture. I'm hoping to pose her similar to this piece of artwork that I saw. Hopefully I'll get the footage of it and I'll be able to put that over this voiceover so you'll see. But she's sort of posed with Dooku in quite a cool pose, so I was just trying her out to see if I could get her into that sort of pose, and then I want to pose her up with Dooku on the shelf at the back here. So again, I'm going to have to rearrange some of these figures to try and fit her in, but that's how I'd like to pose her. That's my sort of plans for what to do. But for the moment, she's just hanging out down here in Jabba's palace because she hasn't got space in her designated place yet. Here's an image of Asajj Ventress and Dooku that I was talking about. You can sort of see how the pose she's in. It's a bit reminiscent from the pose that I was showing you. Haven't got that right arm quite right, but that's what I want to try and go for on the shelf. It's going to be tricky, but yeah, I kind of like it. It's by an artist called Aaron McBride. There he is. And this is in a sort of magazine called The Art of Film. I think it was like a special edition magazine. I quite like it because it sort of showcases a lot of different artist styles, and that particular pose I was going through sort of struck me as something that I'd kind of like to try and get going on my shelf. So yeah, that's the pose I was talking about rather. I doubt I'll pull it off, but that's what I'm going for anyway, and that's why Asajj Ventress is in such a funny pose at the moment. Back in the other room, I've finally had the Shriekhawk and two-pack delivered and the single one. So I've just stuck them all here on the Mando shelf for now. It's getting very crowded. I've just stuck them in the front, so yeah, it's they're obstructing the rest of the display, but they're just here for now temporarily until I get time to rearrange everything the way I want to do it. So I really like these figures. Again, they were pre-owned, but that's not really too much of a bother for me. Initially, I thought that this bit had been of the visor had broken off, but it's actually meant to be like that from what I can tell in the pictures. So I will have to double check that against other figures, but I think it's meant to be like that, and that sort of makes sense because they're sort of trainers and they're sort of on their own sort of training all the younglings. So that makes sense to me. I like them. I like the colours on them. I think the colours are sort of a mix between sort of Boba Fett sort of colours and the more traditional sort of blue Mandos like you get with the, what do they call them? Is it the Night Owls? You know, the Bo-Katan sort of lot. But yeah, again, I really like these figures. I've put all their weapons away, their larger guns, into baggies so I don't lose them, and they've just got their sort of handgun sort of holstered. But yeah, hoping to get these things sorted next week. I've had a few more falls again. Rio's fallen again. Managed not to knock anybody over though this time. We've also had, what's his name? Asti, you know, the sequel trilogy pilots. He was next to Poe, but he's taken a tumble. Luckily not knocked anyone else down. K2SO still falling around as usual. So I've got some of this stuff called Kiki's. I'm not sure what it is, but it's called Kiki's, K-I-K-I, and it's meant to help with loose joints on figures. So I did mention last week that I was thinking about gluing K2SO, but I'm going to try that first and see how that works out, and possibly try it on a few other figures to hopefully tighten up some of those ankle joints, because they're persistently falling over on me and it's really annoying. I really like putting my displays like I've got them, and with the way they are, you can see some of them are quite closely bunched together or up on sort of stands. So when one does take a fall that's up high, it can domino effect and take out several other figures. So it's quite annoying. So I really want to find a way to stiffen up some of those ankle joints and stop that from happening. But yeah, that's about it for this week's video. Sorry, it's still not a complete collection tour. I was thinking about what I was hoping to do was do the whole collection tour in one go like I do with these videos, but I think what I'm going to have to do is do it in small parts and then edit it all together afterwards. So I'm going to try and start doing it so it does get done, because I know I keep saying that it's going to happen and I keep not doing it. So I don't think I'm letting anyone down, because I don't think there's anyone really watching these videos, but it's just for myself, you know. I like to sort of set a goal and try and stick to it, you know. But yeah, as I've said, it's been pretty hard because I've got a lot of other commitments to people that I've got to help out. So it does leave me with little time, and with what time I've got, I'm pretty knackered. So it's hard to get all these things done that I want to get done. But again, thanks for watching. I hope to be speaking to you again in this future video. Take care.